And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Bullfrogs. This is a game in which you're trying to get frogs on the log, or it's an area control game where you want to have the most frogs on lily pad cards so that you can score those cards and get points for yourself. It plays between 2 and 4 players, although the 2-player game is very different from the 4-player game. Let me show you how it works. At the beginning of the game, we have a log card here with 4 neutral lily pad cards placed around it. Each player is going to get a deck of lily pads of their color, and they're going to have 3 of them in their hand. On a player's turn, they are going to take one of the cards from their hand and play it that somewhere adjacent to cards. So I could have played it here, 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 here. So let's say I played here. Now I look at this card, and on the card it shows me here that I have 3 actions. That's what the lily pads mean. So, those 3 actions allow me to take frogs of my color and place them on any card that's in the same or adjacent line, not this card. So I could put 1, 2, and then a 3rd frog down here because I'm not allowed to put more than 2 frogs per card. I can also put out a bullfrog if I want. I only have 2 of them, but they're more powerful than a frog. So then let's say the next player, he plays one that gives him 4 actions. So he decides to play that one here, and he places 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and for his 4th action, and for any action, you can move another player's frog. So he can jump the yellow player's frog here to the log. You can't move your own frogs doing it that way, and that's the only way, or one of 2 ways, to get frogs to the log. And then let's say it's the red player's turn, so red plays the card up here at the very top, and this card here gives them 3 actions. So red places this one here, along with a bullfrog, and then, since they can only place cards in the same row, they place a frog way down here. Then it's the green player's turn. So green places one here, that gives them 2 actions, and they place 1 frog on this, and they place 1 frog all the way over here on that card. Now, this card is now completely full. We look and see who wins the card, whoever has the biggest majority. If no one has a majority, then everyone loses. But in this case, red does, because they have 2 and 1, they have a 3. Blue has 2, 1, and 1. So red wins. So what red's going to do, first of all, is jump a frog to each adjacent card. They have to start with losing frogs. So let's say they jump a blue one here, a green one here, a yellow one here, and I guess another blue one over here. If they had any room left, they could jump their own frogs off, and sometimes that will happen. But in this case, they didn't, and so these frogs go away. Bullfrogs, when they go away, they basically die. You can't use them for the rest of the game. However, they take this card, which is worth 6 points. They then check to see if there's any gaps here, and there is a gap here, so they can slide a card into that gap. So let's say they slide this card down like that. And then play continues. Sometimes when you jump frogs to adjacent cards, it will cause multiple cards to be finished. This will continue until players have played all their cards. At that point, the game will end, scoring-wise, and you're going to check the scoring on each card that you've taken, getting an extra point if it matches your color. So you want to score cards of your own color. You also get 1 point for every frog that you have on the log at the end of the game, and 2 points for each bullfrog that you have on that log, and then 3 points for whoever wins that card. So it's basically worth 3 points at the end of the game. That's how you play. Now, Bullfrogs is made by Thunderworks, although for some reason when I'm playing it, it feels like a blue-orange game. I don't know why. The game just feels like one that they would make. The components are good for the most part. The artwork on the cards is phenomenally nice. It has a good, the theme comes through really well. The wooden frogs are pretty good, although several of mine were broken. Although I don't know if I just got a bad batch or what. They're little wooden frogs. Let's talk about gameplay, though. Now, when I played this game with 4 players, with 4 players you take 1 card out of each deck. And incidentally, there's only 3 different kinds of cards in your deck. There are cards that have 3 spaces and give you 4 actions, cards with 4 spaces that give you 3 actions, and cards with 5 spaces that give you 2 actions, and they're worth 3, 4, and 5 points. So you take one card out of your deck in a 4-player game, but the problem is that a 4-player game is simply A, too long, and B, too chaotic. You really can't do any planning ahead. On your turn, you're just going to play a card that hopefully benefits you, and the 4 action cards are the ones that are best, and since the 4 action card you can usually finish off a card or do something cool, though you'll see those get played first, or you hog them to the end to play them then. But there's really not a lot of, ooh, I set that up. It didn't work very well. It was okay. And in fact, when it was my turn, I was able to have a conversation with other people and totally ignore the board until it came my turn again. And then I was able to win the game anyway, despite not really paying attention to what the other players were doing. I just felt like on my turn, I did the best action possible. And 3-player was okay, but when I played 2-player, then I saw a lot of cool things about this game. Then it was a back and forth. Every move you made was setting yourself up for another move, or your opponent, countering something that he did or she did. And I felt like the game was much better. And in fact, I think it should have been only a 2-player game. I guess it's not bad as a 3 to 4-player game. It wasn't like I did not enjoy the game. I just felt like I didn't have a lot of control over the outcome of the game. So I was just kind of playing the play. But in a 2-player game, very focused, it wasn't heavy strategy, but still some planning ahead, placing cards here. When's the best time to move your opponent's frogs? When to use that bullfrog? Maneuvering frogs to that center can get you a whole lot of points at the end of the game. Although if you concentrate too much on that, you'll lose because of the lily pads other players have gotten. So good. So I recommend this as a 2-player game. As a 3 to 4-player game, not really. It's light. I wouldn't say, no, I hate this game if someone offered, but I would prefer not to just because I felt like I wasn't doing much over the course of the game. A cool production and I like area control games, especially with the whole sliding mechanism as the cards go around, and the theme with the frogs worked. I guess they are actually fighting, although I didn't get that. But okay, they have weapons and they're fighting and so on. But the theme, the frogs I liked. Just a 2-player game mostly. Dice Tower Judgment, approved for 2 players.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Listen, shut the door.